Well, hello everyone. I thought I'd try a new way of doing this. As you can see, I have disc 1 of Halloween 2 in the Blu-ray player. And you will occasionally see like a little bit of that because I'm doing this on the webcam. So when there's brightness in the screen, you're going to see brightness coming. But yeah, essentially that is the main menu of disc 1 of Halloween 2. And I thought, since I already looked over these special features when I got the DVD release, that I would go ahead and just review this because it's essentially the same thing, just in high def, which is cool. And the quality of the main menu, if that's an indication of how good it is, then then that's awesome. It's definitely 10 times better. But essentially, as I said, this is Halloween 2, the sequel, written by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. And this, I'm not going to do, again, I'm not going to do a review of the film. I'm just going to do a review of the disc itself. As you can see, I don't like these eco cases too much. I can understand it, it's a cost-effective way, blah blah blah. But I don't know, I'm not too big into it. It doesn't hurt the disc, so I'm not gonna cry about it. As you can see, disc 1's already in there. Disc 2 is the TV version. And when I first heard, this is the DVD, this is the one DVD, that's why it's called a 15 disc set and not a 15 disc Blu-ray set. And at first when I heard that they were putting the TV version on a whole separate disc when they released this last year, I wasn't sure how I would feel about that because because I'm just like, well, who would watch the TV version? Like that's just stupid. And I honestly did not remember the TV version until I watched it. When I watched it, just to see what the differences were, aside from no blood or whatever, or nudity being cropped out or whatever. It really is essentially a whole different movie. I mean, the main gist of the movie is pretty much the same, but you're missing deaths. Like there's one death that never occurs, and then there's one death that's implied not to be a death. If you've seen the movie, this version of the movie, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, I don't want to spoil it. Definitely watch this version. It's a nice little experiment to see what goes on in the editing room for when you release it on TV, at least back then. Nowadays you can get away with shit. This would have been uncut, aside from the nudity and the cursing. This would have been uncut. But yeah, this is, as I said, the same release as the 2-disc DVD set and the earlier 2-disc Blu-ray set. The only thing that's missing, of course, is Terror in the Aisles, which was a Universal only thing, which I do have to get that release just for that documentary, and I'll probably just put it in a sleeve and put it in here. Yeah, this way I don't have to waste space. But we have commentary by director Rick Rosenthal and actor Leo Rossi. Leo Rossi played Bud, the ambulance, the EMT, whatever. That spoilers, that dies in the hot tub with Nurse Karen. And then we have audio commentary with stunt coordinator Dick Warlock, and I believe this is the first commentary that's done by an actual shape. This was the first commentary done by someone who actually played Michael Myers, so that's kind of cool. Then of course it says the theatrical version and the television cut. Then we have The Nightmare Isn't Over, the making of Halloween 2, featuring Rick Rosenthal, Lance Guest, Dick Warlock, Alan Haworth, Dean Cundy, Leah Rossi, and a couple more. If I'm remembering correctly, Gloria Gifford, the one who played Nurse Alves, does something too on here. I think the girl who plays Nurse Karen's on here, but not the one who played the blonde nurse. I think her name is Jill. And then the girl, the nice little petite one, the one who gets the needle in her head. She's also on this too, so that's kind of cool. And then we get an episode of Horror's Hallowed Ground, revisiting the original shooting location. Now this is a cool little special features only series hosted by Sean Clark. And he basically goes around to mostly Scream Factory stuff. I don't know if he's ever actually done something outside of Scream Factory. But he goes onto the shooting locations of the films that he's done. Essentially, he's done almost all the Halloweens. The only one he hasn't done is H2O and Resurrection and Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie one. And he's done like the Fog. It's really, I think the Thing. No, he doesn't do the Thing. He does a couple more. Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare 2, I believe. He's done a couple, so that's really cool. So yeah, he has done something outside of Scream Factory, but that was on the Never Sleep Again thing. But I'm getting off track here. Then we have deleted scenes with optional commentary with director Rick Rosenthal. Some of these scenes I think were just TV scenes. And then we have the alternate ending, which is basically the TV ending with Rick Rosenthal commentary, still gallery, theatrical trailer, TV spots, and radio spots. And again, we have both commentaries are pretty laid back, but I will say that Rick Rosenthal has a little bit more of a technical side to it, because he does point out the pressures he was going through, what he liked about the film, how he enjoys the flow that the film has with the first film. Any shots that were not his, he is readily ready to admit to it. So he'll be like, this is a scene that John Carpenter shot, this was not my idea, he felt that we needed another death or whatever. So that's kind of cool. Leo Rossi is the laid back one in the commentary. He's the one that basically plays off of Rick Rosenthal, and he does a pretty good job. Alright, I'm back. And then we have the commentary for the stunt coordinator, or the Shape, Dick Warlock. Another laid back commentary. This is definitely just straight laid back. I believe that there is a moderator on here. I forget if it's Sean Clark or somebody else. I do believe he has somebody to talk off of, but from the commentary itself, I do remember being kind of really cool. So that's an awesome thing, as always. So I definitely recommend that commentary. The Nightmare Isn't Over is almost an hour long, and then essentially they go through the tropes of having success, then having to go along with the making of. Jamie Lee Curtis and John Carpenter are nowhere on this, so that was kind of disappointing. Again, as I said in the first disc, Jamie Lee's always been about, like, I'm not big into horror films, those were just films that I made for friends that I had, and blah blah blah. And she's always admitted to never feeling regret and always being thankful for her horror career, but she didn't talk about it on here. I think she does talk a little bit about it on the H2O making of, but very briefly. And then of course the Night She Came Home documentary on the first disc. But it's still pretty good all around. The deleted scenes, as I said, they're mostly TV scenes with the commentary, as well as some shots that just weren't put in there. So yeah, that is cool. And yeah, that's really about it. There is a good amount of features on here. They're not as grand as probably other discs that you might have seen, but they're definitely well worth the time. I am going to go to the bonus features, and as you can see, when you turn the bonus features on, it comes up with a sub menu, so you don't actually have like a whole new menu. It keeps going. this does kind of cause a problem because there is a slight delay in the pressing order. You know, and for those who might not be aware, the commentaries, you have to, in order to access the commentaries, in case you don't know, you have to go to audio setup, and then it tells you the commentaries. Audio commentary, you can't really see it, but you can see the sub-menu, you know, so yeah, that's essentially my review. The picture, as I can see from here, you probably can't tell, well, you can tell a little bit, is crisp, very little grain, you know, definitely probably an upscale from the Universal releases or the Good Time releases, or especially the VHS releases. It would have been nice to, on that 30th anniversary that Universal released, it would have been nice if they had actually unearthed the commentary that Rick Rosenthal did back in, like, I think 2002. Universal was going to release Halloween 2. From what I understand, they recorded a commentary, but then they never released the, when the DVD did come out, it was released without the commentary, which was, I think, a huge letdown for a lot of people. And when you watch the 25 Years of Terror documentary, Rick does point out that he just recently saw it, and all you can think about is, yeah, because you did a commentary that was never released. So that was essentially a hard thing, you know. But as I said, you know, when you get the 15 disc set, you know, definitely pop this one in. It's a great watch, a great listen to. The features are pretty good. As much as I'm enjoying all these making ofs, I do hope that Daniel Farrens, Andrew Cash, you know, and whoever else can get together and make a documentary in the style of Never Sleep Again and Crystal Lake Memories for Halloween. I don't think we'll get Jamie Lee Curtis, but maybe they can make a deal with Anchor Bay and Scream Factory to get some of the footage from these making ofs to add on to theirs. But anyways, this is going on a little too long, about 13 minutes in almost. So I will talk to you guys when I watch Halloween 3 later.